Welcome. My name is Alan Kennedy of Time, Team and Money. I'm going to talk to you today about how to get clients from networking. I've done a lot of networking over the year, and I remember one particularly pleasurable group, which was a B&I group in East Oxfordshire, where I arrived on day one, and very quickly I had £12,000 of client fees, all of whom stayed with me for about 10 years. And so that's in total £120,000 worth of work over the 10-year period. Networking, if it works well, can be heaven. If it works badly, it can be like hell. Getting up at 5:30 in the morning to attend every week a meeting where you got no work from it, trust me, that's not much fun. So following my mission statement that working for Smith Kennedy Limited or my current business, Time Team Money Limited, should be fun. And if it's not making money, it's not fun. Let's talk to you about how to make money out of networking. Okay, next slide, please. Number one rule is show up regularly. I want to talk to you about a man called Steve Baker. Steve Baker is an IFA. And in the days when I used to be in practice as an accountant, we used to get inundated with IFAs who wanted referrals. The usual sort of approach was something like this. Ring, 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 ring. Hi, I'm an IFA and I'd like to know whether you have a relationship with someone and whether it's working well. Okay, now I'm going to rephrase that phone call by saying, hi, I'm an IFA, and can I put Alan Kennedy at administrative inconvenience and commercial risk in order to help make me richer? Now let's compare that with Steve Baker. When he turned up, I thought, well, he's going to be the same as every other IFA. But gradually, over the period of 6 months, I got to know, like, and trust him. I found out he was a technically very competent IFA, which is one of my prerequisites for sending any referrals to IFAs. And in addition to that, he was extremely well qualified, which again was a referral reason. But it took me 6 months to find out that. I had to do a one-to-one with him. I had to hear him talk about how he dealt with clients. And it wasn't until I heard a 10-minute presentation, I thought, yes, this is the man I want to put on my referral list. So number one is show up regularly. It takes time to build those relationships. Number two is build up a power group. If you go to a networking meeting and you're a business coach and it's got, for example, someone who runs a beauty salon, it's quite unlikely that you'll get referrals from him or her because they're largely meeting people who don't need business coaches. Conversely, if one of the people in your networking group is a business broker, he's often coming across people whose businesses are heavily reliant on the owner manager and they need a business coach to help the business become more valuable. So find out which industries or groups refer best to you. My typical groups when I was running an accounting practice used to be or even when I'm a business coach, would be something like a business broker, an IFA, a solicitor, a mortgage broker, and all of those used to provide good referrals for me. So if you're looking for people to invite, follow the maxim known as Greedy Bastards Day. You make a list of those people who can make you rich and invite them along. That's called your power group. And then between the 3 or 4 of you, or 5 or 6 in the power group, you develop the relationships. So, point number 3, give referrals to others. I've been in networking groups where people have just been known as selfish. They come here, they talk about themselves even more, and they expect everyone to give them referrals. Well, why would I refer to someone who was selfish? I want to refer to people who are generous with my clients so I can trust them. So if you don't give any referrals, there is quite a risk that you won't get many back. So point number 4, be specific about your ideal client. I remember when a few years ago, went in the days of desktop computers and cloud computing, which is coming in, and I was one of the first firms to embrace cloud computing. And I used to stand up in networking meetings and say, I'm now going to teach you how to become a chartered accountant in 60 seconds. Is that all right, Mr. Joe? And everyone would look at me a bit like you're looking at me now, blankly. And I say, okay, if you come across someone who has a Sage accounting system on the desktop, I want you to go like that. Shall we have a practice? So the entire room would go like that. And I say, no, that's not good enough. It needs to be sharper and more precise. So let's have another go. There we go. And I would always go, yes, that's really good. Well done. Congratulations. You are now part qualified chartered accountants. So that's what I used to use. You need to know similar questions that you can get people to ask. So to give you some more examples, it would be things like, do they charge for all phone calls? Are they proactive? Are they transparent on fees? Just think of the things that really really annoys clients about your industry, and then get other people to ask those questions. So if you're a solicitor, for example, you might think, does he forewarn you of costs in advance? Does he make sure the costs are well controlled? I know a solicitor called David Hind, and David is very good. He's very good, particularly at keeping legal fees down, because what he does is put a lot of effort into the first letter to the other side. That's called, technical term, a cornflake letter. And that cornflake letter, when it lands on the desk of the defendant, they can look at it and think, oh dear, I've got to settle. I've got no choice. I need to get out of this at the minimum amount of pain and the maximum amount of speed. And that's the sort of letter you want from a lawyer. That takes a lot of skill and expertise, which is why lawyers charge the rates they do. And trust me, they're worth every penny of it. So the sort of question you might ask if you were looking for a referral for David is, how does he keep fees under control? And it's the skill into that cornflake letter which really helps the negotiation with the defendant. Okay, so networking is about building an asset. I want to tell you about an accountant I knew, well, probably 40 years ago now, or 35 years ago when I first started in accounts. He was a person called Stephen Reed. Sadly, he's died now, but he was a lovely man. And he built a practice up from nothing to, about 25 staff over about a 7-year period. And a lot of this was on the back of a mortgage broker who sent him 70 referrals in 2 years. I mean, that's probably led to 20 clients, and today's terms, you're probably looking at about £25,000 worth of income per year recurring. Maybe £40,000. Networking can do that for you if you get it right and if you adopt it in the right way. So if you want more help, or if your networking isn't working, then please do contact me, Alan Kennedy of Time, Team and Money. The contact details are in the description box on my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for listening. If you have been, it's a great pleasure talking to you.